But I want to take the time to say Chiefs are go Chiefs. Here's the thing about football. I've lived in Kansas City my whole life, my entire life. Kansas City or around it. And I have known that the Chiefs have, and the lack of a better term, sucked for pretty much my whole life. And I've been okay with that. But in general, I've not been a very sports guy. I've not been a football guy, right? And so I've never worn Chiefs stuff. I've never worn a Chiefs shirt, Chiefs anything, right? I've been to one Chiefs game when I was 8 with my dad. We both hated it. Never watched it on Sundays. Not a football guy, right? Not because I think it's dumb, just not an interest of mine. And so the Chiefs start winning, right? And everyone starts freaking out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? I get it. I watch a game. I watch the Patriots against the Titans, and my brother-in-law loves the Patriots, and I heard that if the Titans lose, it's going to be helpful for the Chiefs. All of a sudden, I start getting into it. I'm like, oh man, this is cool. Then I watched the Chiefs play against the
So you enjoyed the luxury. Check mic. Why is this not going through?
But I hear you.
Check. What did
Great.
I do?
Technology is doing great today.
What did I do to deserve this?
Someone put this on a cringe compilation. Am I right?
Check.
Cringe. That would explain, though, why it's not switching over to you. But I'm going to go with my story because it's a great story, and I'm going to tell her stories. So I guess what I'm saying is I get why people like football. I get it now, right? I loved rugby when I was younger. I liked football because I knew people played it. But now the sport, I guess the team following, the rivalries, I get it now. That being said, I went to Ross, Dress for Less. So I buy most of my clothes because I don't have a lot of money. But the clothes are sometimes good.
Check.
And there he is, folks. Welcome to the show. But I got this Chiefs zip-up, just like a windbreaker, right?
Yes.
And I wore it to a church event one time.
And you got compliments.
No.
Oh.
I got the opposite. Everyone's like, they just started jumping on me, and there's like, I have never seen you wear a Chiefs thing like your whole life. And they're just like, fair weather fan. And like, oh, you got a tag on that to return it, the Chiefs lose. I'm like, guys, what are you talking about? Like, and then I go on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And I see it's all over the place. Everyone's like, for all you fair weather fans out there, you know, like, screw you guys. I've been a fan for life. And I'm just like, who cares? I mean, the fact is, yes, there are some fair weather fans. There are people that only like the Chiefs when they're winning. And then there are people
There's
who
also
don't
people who only go to church on Sundays once or twice a month
That's
or
right.
a year.
Fair weather
year.
fan. Ooh, gospel connection.
Right.
Fair weather fans with the church and with God. Here's my point.
Okay.
My point is.
Wait, before you make your point, check mic. I want to make sure that checkity check.
Boom.
Yeah. Oh, perfect frame. Okay.
Perfect frame.
That works.
Sam, perfect frame, Johnson. That's what people call him in the biz.
Yeah.
So, my point is this.
Am I in?
The biz.
The biz. Gotcha.
Yeah, you know. If you're in the biz, you know what it is.
Yes.
My point is this. Let the fair weather fans have a good time, too. Because the fact is, we're all here to support the Chiefs. Everyone, if you live in Kansas City, you're excited that your city's team is doing really well, whether you actually care about the sport or the team or not.
Yeah.
Granted, so if someone walks up to me and says, hey, you Chiefs fan? I hear you're a Chiefs fan. Here's a lifetime ticket to see the Chiefs games. I'd be like, I don't want this and I don't deserve it. Give it to a true fan, right?
Sure.
I'm cool with that. But if I come up rocking my Chiefs socks, which I'm wearing right now, my Chiefs shirt.
I'm not rocking any socks.
Which is, you know, the opposite.
Some way
of supporting the Chiefs.
Okay.
That's good.
That's it.
But that's it. That's my rant. Let the fair weather fans, like myself, have a good time like everyone else, all right?
I just had to get that out.
That was great.
It's been in like
that should
2
be the
weeks.
title of this episode.
Yeah. I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. But instead, it is, I think Christian YouTubers might suck.
All right.
And authority.
Controversial topic.
And authority.
And authority, yes.
So
Why do you say that? Why do you think they might suck? Tell me where this idea came from. Because I walked in here this morning, ready to go. And you're like, Isaac, here's the deal. Christian YouTubers might suck. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so here we go. This is Christian YouTubers, might suck, and authority. We're gonna talk about Christian YouTubers. There's a lot of Christian YouTubers that there's a lot of YouTubers that out there that I think are really good, but I think there's a lot of YouTubers that are bad. Now, predominantly the Christian YouTubers, I'm not gonna say that they're good or bad, but I think that most of them are bad. So we're just gonna go ahead and throw that out there. I'm talking about, should I name drop on this?
If you want.
Okay, Paul and Morgan, not so authentic. They're trying quite a bit harder than a lot of people I think out there, and I think that, but that's good. Don't get me wrong, trying is good. I feel like I have to soften the blow on this one, and I've been kind of riding this whole entire reverb with the undertone.
That's why we have this music. That's right. This music is for when we talk about stuff that we're not sure how to get started. So it's a nice, subtle way to come in. So anyway.
So what I'm looking at is like...
You say some of them might be bad. What does that mean?
Bad? When I say bad, I mean cringe.
Cringe.
When I mean cringe, I mean just like...
We don't know what that's like. Because we're never cringe.
No, never. Not at all. No, I think I'm a lot of cringe. But like, I think that a lot of my cringe is on and off.
On and off
air.
cringe. As opposed to... Oh, right.
On and off air. So like my cringe...
It's an authentic cringe.
Yeah, it's an authentic cringe. Like that. Like there's this happy median between like being. Well, you kind of brought it up a little bit. Is like, how do we create something that people want to watch, and something that somebody wants to watch, and then also true. Now, you said it in different terms, but I think that that's kind of what you were getting at, is that, like, you know...
True how? Like authentic? Like...
I hate the word authentic, by the way.
Because everyone uses it?
Yeah.
Unauthentic, like, I'm authentic.
Yeah.
That's what you
I think
sound like
authentic is going to be the word of 2020. Don't quote me on that. You know, like Ignat in 2015. I just laughed at my own joke.
Because it was hilarious.
Thank you. But I think that there's like this like fine line between like, you know, like here we go. This is true, and it's because it's comedy. I mean, that's what comedy is that it's something that is true, also aligned with like, or at least mere true.
Right, or like reflective of things that people can relate to.
Yeah.
True things that actually happen to them. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're just gonna transition here real pronto, real quickly, real pronto. See, that's an example of like pure cringe right there. That like that would be a segue in a conversation between me and Isaac on camera or off camera. Is that
that's true.
The pure so anyway.
Well,
Help me out here because I'm dying.
That's the thing, is this is a new idea that we just brought up, so we're kind of working through it. But I think I see what you're saying in that, I mean, Christian YouTubers who I've never actually seen until a couple of clips that you showed me this morning, but I know they exist, right?
Yes.
YouTubers in general.
Very small survey size that I just showed you.
Right. And so the question is, you know, I don't know. It's like when you say that, what's the difference between good and bad, right? Yeah. And is bad, is it like you were saying there?
Because if you're authentic. A Christian, here's the thing: is if you're a Christian and you decide to make YouTube videos,
yeah,
or like you profess to be a Christian and you decide to make YouTube videos, like that can't be bad.
Sure.
Like you at first like glance at that, like it's like, oh, it can't be bad. But the thing is though, is that if we want to actually make this scripture, or like pull the Bible into this, is that he says that not everybody is going to be teachers, right? I can't specifically think about it on the top of my head,
which
but
is consistent with our scripture knowledge. That's right. Like somewhere in the
yeah.
one of the testaments that says this somewhere. You look it up, but it's out there.
Yeah. So where it, I don't know where it is. Maybe comment in the description below. Whatever. If you're an atheist, you can say whatever you want. I was actually gonna say it, but then with the last episode that we had, I was like, do I want to commit blasphemy? It's like, no.
Which shout out to our last episode.
Shout out to those who. Okay. But where was I going with that? Is that what was I saying? Sorry.
We're gonna backtrack it. Listen. Come back here. No, not really. You were saying. I can't remember either. But I'll make a plug in a different direction because I guess when a, for example, Christian YouTuber makes, I remember what you're saying. He said it can't be bad, right? Because it's
but it
Christian.
can. It actually can be worse.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's like first
It
you
can
got to
be
ask
very
yourself, what's the purpose of, I guess, Christian YouTubers? And I don't even think we would classify ourselves as that because we're not that narrow in scope what we talk about. But we are both Christians.
Yeah.
Different denominations, right? But it's like on the one hand, I'm sure their intents are pure in that they want to talk about God and they want to help just create a sense. They want to just engage in the Christian community, right? And that's fine. But on the other hand, there's a dangerous...
Also, they want to evangelize, I would imagine.
Sure.
You know, like the purpose of why you do something like that is to pull people from the depths of Sheol.
Spread the good word. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then there's a fine line where, on the one hand, I think there are two dangerous things in that. I think number uno, is that you start doing things not for that original purpose to kind of lift people up, and you want to just maintain your viewership and your sponsorships and the money, the income you get from YouTube. You know what I mean? Like you want to have a successful YouTube channel, YouTube channel. Excuse me. YouTube channel, Freudian slip. YouTube channel instead of having, an authentic thing that helps people. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're more focused. So that will start driving the things you talk about. You talk like instead of talking about real topics that people care about, you start talking about things that just like a cash grab, right? That's dangerous number one. Danger number dos is the following. Is like authority, right? Because the fact is if you get a big enough following,
you become like a therapist to people.
You do, whether you like it or not, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to be pretty dangerous.
Because you have that hierarchy that forms, is that you have people at the very tippy top of support who are like, anything and everything that you say is true.
Yeah.
I mean, even down to the T of like, Billie Eilish isn't that great.
Controversial.
If I had 1 million plays on this video, there'd be like 10,000 people who were like, Sam said Billie Eilish isn't that great. And so I believe that is true. So they walk around and that is exactly what they say when Billie Eilish comes up as the topic.
It's true.
Billie is not that great.
Here's a great example. The whole idea is that we sometimes, when we connect with a person, either on YouTube or social media or whatever, right? An influencer or just a presence, a personality. When we connect with them as a person.
Intimacy.
A lot of times.
Forms.
Yes.
Happens.
Yes. Because what happens is we start to treat their word as truth, as gospel, right? We start to treat it as truth. Just like you said, like if you had like 1 million followers,
sure,
which I'm sure someday you will.
Yeah.
If you don't already, they just do it.
And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe.
I mean, just do it. We don't even care.
Or don't.
Yeah, don't. But you should do it anyway.
Yeah.
But you're right, because people would listen to you and they're like, oh, truth, right?
Yeah.
Like, I trust Sam. I connect to what he says. He seems to know what he's talking about. And so whenever they're talking to someone, like, oh, yeah, that's true.
Or the complete opposite, too. Let me throw that wrench in your spokes of rolling right now.
Yep.
Is that they may completely disagree with you, and they will take everything that you say as complete, utter false.
Exactly, yeah.
Like
there's
what's
no way that
going on in
right.
our political, like what's going on today.
Yep.
You can't have conversations with people who are on the far right, and you can't have conversations with the people on far left, because whatever it is, vice versa, everything that you say has no authority given at all.
Yep, exactly. And a great example of that is Jordan Peterson. I really like him. I like the things he talks about. And I remember when I first started watching his videos, I think the most viral thing he has is that interview he had with that one British reporter.
So what you're saying
so what you're saying is XYZ, boom, boom, boom. And I remember when I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is the coolest because he is able to have a conversation. He doesn't get in over his head. He doesn't lose his temper. He's able to calmly and clearly shut this person down who's clearly trying to put him on blast and make him look like an idiot, right? But he's able to overcome the argument every time. And the way he does it is in such an articulate and precise way. I'm like, I want to be able to argue like him, right? And so after that, I started looking into his political ideas and his other things. I'm like, oh, yeah. And everything he said, I was like, oh, yes, totally. I love this guy. I love everything he my And I was sitting with my roommate at school, in the law school, and I was like, hey, let me tell you about this guy, Jordan Peterson, because he's far left, the guy, my friend at the school.
Yeah.
And I'm consider myself, if I had to put myself on a line, moderate, probably more on the right side on most issues.
Yeah.
And so we have these conversations, and I'm like, Jordan Peterson, he's great. Like, what's one of the things he says? What he talks about?
So are you
Jordan
asking me right now?
No, it's like this is what he asked me.
Okay.
He's like, what's one of the things Jordan Peterson talks about? Right? Just give me an idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, dude, this is gonna blow your mind, right? He originally got famous because he was a professor at this school, and he refused, or he made this big stink about the Canadian legislature passing something that would force him to
Bill C-16.
Yes, I think.
Yes.
I don't know, but the word it forces you to use gender neutral pronouns, something like that, right?
Well, it works. The definition of like discrimination, like you shall not discriminate against fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Well, it works the trans community into that.
Gotcha. And so you have to
Constitution.
You have to call them a
no, it's a bill. So.
Yeah. It's a bill that I don't think passed.
I think it did.
I'm not sure. If it did, then I guess Jordan Peterson loses. But I know the reason he was so upset about it is because they were, I guess, in one of the provision of one of this bill, the one he was talking about was you have to call a transgender person. You actually.
Well, it's brought by force by the government, so it's not necessarily you have to, but you will be fined if you don't.
Right.
You can be, and then with that subject to fine is that you'd be held responsible by the government. If you don't pay the fine, then you could potentially go to prison or jail.
And that's
or
the thing. And now that's just to make it very clear. He wasn't saying that. His issue was not like if I have to use the pronouns that transgender people want.
Yeah.
He said if someone comes up to me and says, hey, just so you know, I'm a transgender. I prefer you call me she. He's like, awesome. I'll do that all day long, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with that. His big issue was, I don't want the government telling me what I have to say. And here's the thing. So this is where like I realized that I was just kind of getting on the Jordan Peterson train without really thinking it through. Was when I realized he was giving a talk and he said, there's a difference between the government saying, like what about like using racial slurs, right? He's like, there's a difference between the government telling you what you can't say and telling you what you have to say.
Yeah.
And as I thought that, I was telling that to my friend at the school. I was like, that's actually the exact same thing. I realized. I think it's like they're both just as restrictive of your freedom of speech, saying you're not allowed to say something and you have to say certain something.
Yeah.
That's actually the exact same thing. But the way that Jordan says it is so persuasive, right? There's a lot of other things he says I do agree on. But that was one thing I'm like, okay, I guess I can see why people don't totally buy that argument. So me saying that is, I for a while was anything he said, I was like, that has to be true.
Sure.
He's smart.
Yeah.
He's educated. He's articulate. He knows what he's talking about. And that's dangerous because he could say something that actually is wrong. And I stopped doing the research process.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to actually see if that's true. I'm like, well, Jordan Peterson said it, so it's true.
Well, you started seeing him as like a Jesus.
Essentially, yeah, in a way. Yeah,
like
I started taking his word as truth. Yeah. No questions asked, right?
Which there's things that I disagree with Jordan Peterson about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you triggered me half just a quiet little moment is that whenever you said that you said it's the same thing, is that the government telling you what you have to say and that you can't say something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Like either the government says there's a difference between, he said there's a difference between saying the government telling you can't say certain things like racial slurs.
Yeah.
And the government saying you have to say certain things.
Yeah.
Like one is restricting your vocabulary and one is demanding a vocabulary.
Yeah.
Right? And I said that that's actually pretty much the same.
Yeah. So what comes to mind with me on this, and then we're going to totally have to change the title of this video, but
we can bring it back.
What time is it?
We got 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
I can bring it back full circle.
Okay. Well, good luck with this. It's very similar to abortion.
So we're going to change the title. No.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
It is whenever you say, like, and I've been thinking about this quite endearingly, if you can think about, not abortion specifically, endearingly, but this idea of the have to and should do, or the similarity between the government saying that you have to do something and the government saying that you can't do something.
Right.
And whenever it comes to abortion, right now, there are those on one side saying that the government should not tell you that you can't do this abortion, and there's others saying, arguing that
you have to do
you
something?
have to do something. But the thing is that you have to have the child. So one is arguing that saying that the government can't say that abortion is that the government shouldn't be able to tell you that you can't perform an abortion.
Uh-huh.
And then the counter side being that they believe that the government I'm getting deep in my roots today this morning.
It's a big topic.
Is that they have to keep the child.
Uh-huh. Which both mean have the baby.
Well, no. One is saying the government can't say to me that I have to have this baby.
Right.
And then the other side is saying that, well, it's not. They're not saying that you have to have the baby.
They're just saying you can't get an abortion.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're saying you can't get an abortion. So. But they're also working that into a constitution, which really kind of just rolls my wheels. But I guess what I'm getting at is that the government isn't necessarily saying that you can't have an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
It's saying you're going to have to think this through when it comes to the point of sexual intercourse.
Right, you have to do some things. If you want the abortion as an option... Oh, no, it's just saying you have to do certain things to not even be in that scenario.
Well, no, it's saying like, you know, like for some odd reason people think that, like, you know, just a baby pops in your belly and da 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 da.
Right.
It's like no. You got to find somebody, interlock with them.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the most dry
interlock. Yep.
Version of the birds and the bees. And then happen to be put something in there, and then they happen to have some kind of eggs in there that meet with your eggs, and then something creates in there.
Sure.
Yeah. So like, so if you're not financially capable of having a child, you shouldn't have sex. Hands down. Period.
That's what the government says. That's what you say.
That's what the government is saying.
Gotcha.
Like, but I don't know. I'm walking my way into it, but it's interesting the way that you said that have to and not.
Yeah, like the difference between them telling you you should do something and not do something. Well, to bring it full circle, I'm still gonna try. I'm gonna reel it in. With things like that, like. That's a great example because abortion is another great topic. With any controversial topic, right? People have different sides.
Yeah.
And you have to decide, where am I going to get my information from?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to accept as truth? And the reason why that's kind of regarding the authenticity of Christian YouTubers, boom, full circle, is the idea that, you know, if it's okay to follow someone because you like their opinions. And it's okay to engage with someone because you kind of connect with what they're saying. But at the end of the day, there's only one absolute source of truth, and that's God, right? That's what I believe. And
the Word.
The Word, yeah. And how the word is interpreted is important, but without getting into that. So I guess because the whole title of this episode is Christian YouTubers Might Suck. And the reason they might suck is because I think they are taking for granted, they and not just them, but anyone who has a big social media presence influence, take for granted the fact that they are saying things, they are asserting themselves as an authority when they shouldn't, because they're not authorities.
Yeah.
They're just people with their own opinions, but the people connect their personality so much and how they present their information that they take what they say as truth. And that can be very dangerous, just like that with me and Jordan Peterson, right?
Yes.
And so it even happened with us. Maybe down the road, people are going to look at us like, man, Isaac and Sam, they're the best. Everything they say.
So let's have
love
this
it.
as the episode, and I'll close it. What time is it?
You got 5 minutes?
Oh, we got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So a good enough time to, 5 minutes. 5-minute video is a really long video on YouTube now that I think about it.
That is true. Depends what's in there.
See, if you've made it this far, then like,
Stick around.
yeah,
You're in it.
you're in it. You're in it to win it, man.
Yeah.
So I guess to say that don't take what we say is entirely true.
Yeah. I mean, true in the sense like I can safely say that we are not authorities on any of these topics. These are just our personal opinions. Right?
Yes.
But we feel very strongly about them. And so that's why we're kind of asserting it, and you can choose to agree with us or not. But the kind of asterisk there, right, the little disclaimer is don't go to your friends like, this is truth because I heard these guys say it on YouTube.
Just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean you're right about
That's right.
something.
That's
and I
exactly
think
right.
I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like that what you see a lot of times on YouTube is that you see people who are very passionate about things.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that, oh, that must be true.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that's a common argument.
And I'm talking about
strategy.
specifics. I'm not talking
Yeah.
about like oh, they're passionate about making guitars.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's true that they're making guitars. Like
Talking
no.
about like arguments.
Yeah.
Like points that people are trying to make in
yeah,
conversation.
With just language. Like somebody speaking very passionately about flat Earth.
Yeah. There's like,
Like-
nope, it's undeniably true. It's 100%
Yeah.
true. And frankly, Christians do this all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I served as a
More
Mormon
times than not.
missionary. Yeah, that's just how it is, right? Because it's a big deal to us. It's our whole lives, right? I served as a Mormon missionary for 2 years in Chile, and all I did every day from dawn till dusk was go tell people and just like testify and just like preach with all my heart that I know this is true, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I didn't want people to accept the gospel because of what I said.
Because of what you said.
Because I'm not the authority, right? I have my whole idea is I said those things to get them thinking about it, but then they had to go and search and find the answers for themselves. And that's the same with spiritual things and with regular intellectual things like political, like abortion. Is it right or is it wrong, right?
Yeah.
The core of that might be, your own personal ethical beliefs. But beyond that, you have to just do your own research, right? Find real authorities to determine what you think is true, right? So,
Well, I like to take it as far as, and we're going back into the depths, even though it's just outro. In any instance is that you take a look at something and say, who is the God in this picture?
mhm.
With abortion, it's clearly either the doctor who's putting those. That's the worst thing.
Oof.
That's probably exactly what it sounds like too.
But I see what you mean. Like they're the ones calling the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's what I know.
Let's steer away from abortion because we're two white cisgender males, and we
Yes.
have no authority to speak, according to very many people
That's
on
true.
that topic.
I think the bottom line, though, is that if you're going to listen to someone who you respect,
Yes.
don't just take what they say for truth at face value.
Now, are you telling me this or them this? You're telling
Them.
me this. No,
I mean,
tell
listen,
me this.
Sam, listen to me.
Yeah.
If just because you hear something that you think is right and
Yeah.
you like what they're saying, that does not instantly make it true. You got to do your own research.
Yeah.
The number one thing that school learning has taught me is be skeptical of everything.
Yes.
If everyone says that doesn't mean you have to distrust everyone. Then you hear it, before you internalize it, you do your own research, figure out what's true in the news, in the church, whatever, right?
Yeah.
That is how you get from having false information and just starting to like get super worked up about stuff you actually don't know that much about, you know? That's what you don't want to be. You don't want to be uneducated.
And here's the thing is that you will get a different opinion from each and every single person.
It's true. That is true.
And I can attest to that because I started climbing and we're out of time.
Well, guess no one's going to hear that story.
Guess you're not going to hear the story
Guess
that I was
tune in
like, hey,
next
we'll
time.
talk about that whenever we go on live. And then I never talk about it. But it's okay.
That's how we're stringing
Because
people
there's going
along.
to be another one in 2 weeks.
This show is like Lost. We just always have just enough of a cliffhanger. Even if it makes no sense and the whole episode is like, what is happening? At the very end, it's like, oh, that's just enough. Show me the next one. That's what we're all about. So why don't you take us out with that that acapella version of our outro. There it is. Until next time, go Chiefs. This is the part where it gets to be just me while our production team goes out, stops the live stream,